You're having a perfectly fine day. Then your coworker mentions something negative about the project you're working on. Suddenly, that's all you can think about. You replay the conversation 17 times. You catastrophize. By the end of the day, you've convinced yourself you're about to get fired, even though objectively, nothing actually happened. Later, your friend cancels plans. Normally, you'd be fine with it, but your brain immediately goes, "They don't actually like me. I'm always the one people cancel on. Nobody values my time." You didn't doom scroll. You didn't check social media. But somehow, your internal algorithm, the one running in your head, has been trained to feed you the worst possible interpretation of everything. Here's the thing. You don't just have a digital feed. You have a mental feed. And most people have accidentally curated it to run on a depression loop. This week, I was thinking about how we curate our algorithms, not just on our phones, but in our minds, and then thought, as a techie psyche, why not make a video on it so that I can share my viewpoint on it? If you've been struggling with depressive thought patterns, negative spirals, or feeling like your brain is working against you, the next few minutes will change everything. You don't have to watch any video after this to get a clear reply. I'm going to show you exactly why this happens and what actually works to fix it. Everything will be purely based on science. Find a quiet spot, stay until the end, and if this finally clicks for you, let me know by hitting the like button. Okay, let's start now. Look, here's what nobody tells you about depression. It's not just a chemical imbalance, it's an information processing disorder. Your brain has literally learned to curate negativity the same way an algorithm curates content. Think about it this way. You walk into a party where 20 people are having a good time and one person looks bored. What does your brain focus on? The one bored person. Why? Did you choose to focus on them? No. Your internal algorithm served that information to you because somewhere along the way, you trained it to prioritize threats, rejection, and negative feedback. Here's what most people don't realize. Your brain is running pattern matching software 24/7. It's constantly scanning your environment, your memories, your interactions, asking, what should I pay attention to? What's important? And just like a digital algorithm, it learns from your engagement. Every time you ruminate on something negative, you're teaching your brain, this type of information is important. Show me more of this. A groundbreaking 2022 study from the University of Cambridge found that people with depression have a measurably different attentional bias. They literally see more negative stimuli in their environment than non-depressed people viewing the exact same scene. Two people can walk through the same room, and the depressed person's brain will curate a completely different reality, noticing the mess, the things that need fixing, the potential problems. This is where it gets really interesting. Depression isn't just sadness, it's a learned pattern of information selection. Your brain is basically running on a recommendation engine, and through years of reinforcement, you've accidentally trained it to recommend worst-case scenarios, personal failures, reasons to be anxious, evidence that you're not good enough, and interpretations that confirm you're helpless. Now, you might be thinking, but I don't want to think negatively. I'm not choosing this. Exactly. You're not choosing it consciously, but you've been unconsciously curating it through something psychologists call selective attention and confirmation bias. Let me give you a real example. You send a text message. The person doesn't respond for 3 hours. Your brain immediately serves you, they're mad at me. They don't care. I said something wrong. That's your algorithm running. But here's the thing. You didn't consider the 47 other possible explanations. They're in a meeting, their phone died, they're driving, they're busy, they'll respond later. Your brain didn't serve you those options because your internal algorithm has been trained to curate anxiety-inducing interpretations. This is where it gets really interesting. Your brain has something called the Reticular Activating System. It's essentially your brain's search engine. It filters the millions of pieces of sensory information you encounter every day and decides what to bring to your conscious attention. Here's the critical part. The RAS is programmable. It shows you what you've trained it to look for. You know that phenomenon where you buy a red car and suddenly you see red cars everywhere? That's your RAS. The red cars were always there, but now your brain's algorithm has been updated to prioritize that information. Depression works the same way, except instead of red cars, you've trained your brain to notice signs of rejection, evidence of failure, reasons to worry, and confirmations that things are going wrong. Research from the Beck Institute, founded by the father of cognitive therapy, shows that depressed individuals have what's called negative cognitive schemas. These are essentially mental algorithms that automatically interpret ambiguous information in the worst possible way. Somebody doesn't text back? Algorithm says rejection. You make a small mistake? Algorithm says you're incompetent. Something good happens? Algorithm says it won't last or you don't deserve it. And here's the truly fascinating part. Every time you engage with these negative interpretations, by ruminating, worrying, or accepting them as truth, you're strengthening those neural pathways. You're literally training your brain's algorithm to serve you more of the same content. Neuroscientist Dr. Rick Hansen calls this the brain's negativity bias on steroids. Your brain is already wired to notice negative information for survival, but when you repeatedly engage with negative thoughts, you're not just noticing threats, you're actively curating a depression feedback loop. Let me break this down. Depression isn't about what happens to you, it's about what your brain's internal curation system chooses to show you about what happens to you. The solution. Here's what actually works, and I'm not talking about positive thinking or gratitude journals. Those are surface-level fixes. I'm talking about actually reprogramming your brain's recommendation algorithm. Step 1. The cognitive audit. For 7 days, I want you to catch yourself every time you have a negative interpretation of something, not the negative thought itself, the interpretation. Someone cancels plans. Your brain serves, "They don't like me." Stop, write it down. Alternative interpretations, they're actually busy, they're tired, they have something else going on that has nothing to do with me. You make a small mistake at work, your brain serves, "I'm incompetent." Stop, write it down. Alternative interpretation, I made one error. I'm human. This doesn't define my competence. This isn't about being positive. This is about recognizing that your brain is serving you one interpretation out of dozens of possible interpretations, and it's consistently serving you the worst one. Step 2. Deliberately feed your algorithm different data. Here's something most people don't know. Your brain's algorithm updates based on what you consciously notice. Every evening, write down 3 things that went right today. Not things you're grateful for, things that actually happened that were neutral or positive. The coffee was good. I had a decent conversation with a colleague. I finished that task I was avoiding. Why does this work? Because you're manually feeding your brain's algorithm different data. You're saying, "Hey, search engine, index this information, make this type of content more prominent in my awareness." Within 2 weeks, your RAS starts automatically noticing these things without you trying. Your brain's recommendation engine starts serving you a different reality. Step 3. Interrupt the rumination loop. Rumination is the equivalent of watching the same negative content on repeat. It's teaching your brain, this thought pattern is engaging, show me more variations of this. When you catch yourself ruminating, you need a pattern interrupt, and I don't mean distraction. I mean consciously saying, I've already processed this thought. Continuing to engage with it is training my brain to serve me more of this content. Then physically do something else. Move your body, change your environment, interrupt the engagement. Research from Yale University shows that chronic ruminators have measurably different brain activity. Their default mode network is stuck in a loop. The only way to break it is to consciously disengage and redirect attention. Step 4. Curate your environmental inputs. Your brain's algorithm doesn't just run on internal thoughts, it's also influenced by external inputs, the people you spend time with, the conversations you have, the environments you're in. If you're constantly around people who complain, catastrophize, or focus on problems, you're training your brain's algorithm that this is the important content. This doesn't mean cut everyone out, but it does mean being strategic about who you engage with deeply and what types of conversations you allow to dominate your mental space.
One study from Harvard found that emotions and thought patterns are contagious within social networks. If your closest friends are running depression algorithms, your brain will start adopting similar curation patterns. Look, I get it. This sounds harder than just blaming your mood on external circumstances, because taking responsibility for your mental algorithm means acknowledging that you have more power and more work than you thought. But here's what I really want you to understand. Your depression isn't just happening to you. Your brain is actively curating it based on years of learned patterns about what information matters. You're not broken. You're not chemically doomed. You've just been running faulty information curation software. And like any software, it can be debugged and updated. The most powerful realization you can have is this:
you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that observes your thoughts. And once you realize your brain is running an algorithm, you can start consciously curating a different one. Start with step 1, the cognitive audit. For 7 days, catch yourself when your brain serves you a negative interpretation and force yourself to generate alternatives. I promise you, your internal algorithm will start to shift. If this reframe helped you see your depression differently, hit that like button. Subscribe for more content that treats your mind like the programmable system it is. Drop a comment. What's one negative interpretation your brain automatically serves you? Your mental health isn't about what you consume online. It's about what you've trained your mind to notice offline. Curate better, think better, feel better. Now, go audit your thoughts.